If you're a doctor, nurse, or aesthetic practitioner trying to decide whether to go into private practice, here are 5 things you might want to consider. And towards the end, I will tell you what I think is the most common problem doctors, nurses, and aesthetic practitioners face in private practice. So let's dive in. But before I discuss the 5 things you might want to consider, let's get one thing clear. What is private practice? In the context of the United Kingdom at least, a private medical practice is independent of the NHS, the National Health Service, and it offers direct and personal patient care. Patients pay for their own care, usually on an ad hoc basis or with private medical insurance. People understand that cosmetic or aesthetic treatments are not funded by taxes and that they will have to pay for these treatments themselves. So to put it simply, doctors and nurses and aesthetic practitioners provide direct care for payment outside of a state-funded system. Now, few, if any, doctors, nurses or cosmetic practitioners go straight into private practice. Most will leave medical school, nursing school or finish aesthetic training and go into paid employment. While being paid either by the NHS or by a private clinic, they will gain experience, additional qualifications. They will become highly skilled at what they do as doctors, nurses and aesthetic practitioners. Demand for healthcare and cosmetic treatments is increasing, and the NHS is under increasing pressure with growing waiting times and restrictions to certain treatments. So, those with appropriate skills see an opportunity to provide services privately. Few will go full-time into private practice, and the majority will balance paid employment in the NHS with their private practice. Increasing numbers of doctors and nurses are involved in both NHS work and private work. For many, the NHS provides the bulk of their income and private practice is something that is done on the side, as it were. This group of doctors and nurses is busy, sometimes very busy. A few in the group think, maybe I should go full-time into private practice. Aesthetic practitioners who are in employment may also think, maybe I should set up my own full-time private practice. The commonest transition from paid employment is to self-employment as a solo entrepreneur. This is what I'm talking about here in this video. The jump from being employed to becoming an entrepreneur. So if you are a doctor, nurse or aesthetic practitioner thinking of making this jump, stop and think about these 5 things. Number 1. If you make the jump from employed to entrepreneur, you will swap one job for many. You will have the job you are already good at, say treating a specific health condition such as venous disease, or an aesthetic condition such as facial lines and wrinkles, but now you have the job of marketing, sales, and customer care. If you choose to employ people, you would need to consider employment law, hiring people, and payroll. You will now be running a business and you have 5 major job titles related to the 5 important business processes: content creation, marketing, sales, operations, also known as service delivery, and customer care. Are you ready for this? Number 2, you no longer have employment rights. You will not have paid sick leave, study leave, no automatic pension contributions, to name just a few things to consider. Number 3, if for any reason you don't turn up for your private practice, you will not earn. If customers don't come to your private practice, you will not earn. What you earn may vary widely from month to month, and you will not get a regular paycheck. Number 4, your private practice may be affected by many things outside of your control. Right now, the cost of living crisis and the recession in the UK means that people have less money to spend on discretionary spending, such as cosmetic treatments. Number 5, mindset. Do you have a business mindset? Now, this is hard to define. In fact, of the 5 things to consider, it is the hardest to be clear about and hardest to be objective about. But I think it's the most important. If you want to read a great article on the subject, I've put a link in the description box below. Now, on the subject of mindset, for me personally, the important mindset is to accept uncertainty and never to give up. Private practice is not easy. Success is not guaranteed, and there will be lows and highs. Resilience is needed to sustain your private practice through difficult times. Now, at the beginning, I told you I would share what I think is the most common problem doctors, nurses, and aesthetic practitioners face in private practice. In my opinion, it's thinking in terms of costs rather than thinking in terms of investments. For example, I recently discussed how I started a telephone answering service. I explained the reasons I hired a call centre and how I used it. And if you missed it, the description is in the box below. This generated a lot of discussion amongst those who subscribed to my email newsletter, and the discussion centred mostly around the cost. Only a few people asked me about the ROI, the return on investment. Well, I spent around £400 per month on a call centre, and after 6 months it increased my revenue by over £3,000 per month. So, for every pound spent I got £7.50 back. That's a 750% ROI. That's what I call a great investment. An investment, not a cost. Did I know with absolute certainty that a call centre would increase my revenue? No, of course not. But I knew I was losing telephone inquiries. I knew I was losing business. By employing a telephone answering service, I didn't lose calls. I got those calls and I increased my revenue. Now, this might not work as well for everyone. First, you have to have all the 5 elements of the successful business in place. And in case you missed it, those 5 elements are content, marketing, sales, operations, and customer care. These 5 cogs in your business machinery must all be working. And in my business system, the call center was an important iteration that improved sales. So there you are. 5 things to consider before entering private medical practice. Do you have a business mindset? Are you in private practice? What are the main challenges you face? Let me know in the comments below. I really look forward to reading all of these, and I promise I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you found this information valuable, please consider hitting the like button. It really does help my channel, and check out all the links in the description box below. I hope to see you again soon, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and that way you won't miss my next video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for staying to the end.